The following is a presentation of TFNN. Live at TFNN, the Power Trading Hour, with your host, David White. Now, the author of The Path of Least Resistance and The Tech Insider, David White.
And it's a happy Halloween to everybody in TFNN land, whether they be soggy, whether they be dry, or maybe they be snowy. We've got a lot of weather across the country. Everybody up in the East Coast now is getting kind of a little bit of what we've had down in Florida for a great amount of time. Of course, big storms, lots of flooding. We've pretty much escaped it this year, but every few years, Florida's lucky enough to get a hurricane that comes through. I think, like a lot of people that have lived in the South, and one year they move to Minneapolis and find out they've got to learn to drive on snow. They're just not really used to it. Of course, this is probably a lot worse than a little bit of snow. Snow you can normally plow off and it doesn't break your roof down. Just give a shout out to all those folks out there that are probably not able to listen to us, even if they wanted to today, that are busy drying their things out. I know we've got a few people in the den that are in New York City. Don't know if I didn't have a chance to look through there and see if they're there. But I know the troubles that they're having on the trading floor in the New York Stock Exchange. But I think it probably, at least for us traders, is probably a good thing. We've documented on this show fairly extensively that almost no trading goes on the New York Stock Exchange anymore. Only about a fourth of the shares go through there. But what the New York Stock Exchange does buy you is protection. They are kind of like the guy that comes by and goes, hey, nice new plate window there in your store. Be a shame if that window get broken. We can make sure that window don't get broken, Who's what to say if I'm not out here protecting it? Maybe somebody comes along and throws a rock through that window. New York Stock Exchange is a lot like that. They've got gatekeepers there that work and get paid by companies to be their market makers, and they can hold up trading and make sure that the market doesn't get going against a particular stock if someone doesn't want to, and that someone better have some deep pockets. But those people are more than willing to stand in their way, and when the market goes against them, they're more than willing to never pick up those phones. We've seen that in '87 and the flash crash. Those broker-dealers and market makers are supposed to be there actually, trying to take care of their customers, which normally is not us, the actual traders. We are going to be, we'll be looking at those. But I suspect, especially since we talked about almost all the trading now for the New York Stock Exchange happens in New Jersey in a facility that's way above ground level. And I don't think that they've had too many reports of trading. It's probably going to be very light over the next few days. It's very hard to know how these markets are going to react. We're off, a point or two on the S&P. But volume 2.1 billion shares at this time. So we're probably looking at about maybe a 3 billion share day. And after being off for about 2 days, this market really needs to start figuring out where it's going. Let's see. Let me get back to that screen there. I was looking at it. I actually had one long position. I thought we'd probably bounce into the end of the quarter. Of course, today is the last day of the quarter. They need and the last day of the year for a lot of trading firms. Some in the end of September, some in the end of October. But a great deal are going to be paid on what the closing price is today on their portfolios. So that it's, flat out here, not a big deal. I wasn't expecting a big move. But a lot of people, especially worried about their trades and worried about cleaning up their houses, probably came in, sold their shares today, just wanted to be flat and neutral. And I think we're probably going to see that kind of flat and neutral probably into next Monday. I can't imagine that this market's going to go very far. Of course, those funds are going to get out of some stocks starting as early as tomorrow and start getting into some new stocks for the next coming year. So expect a little volatility, but I suspect that's going to be starting probably next Monday. There is a tendency for the Feds and the Treasury and all the people at the stock exchanges to make sure that there are no big moves that get started on this. So expect intraday volatility, but I suspect at the end of the days we're going to have some fairly flat days like we're seeing right now. NASDAQ is off 14. Of course, a lot of that is based on the news out of Apple. They're off 5 or 6. They were off a little bit more. I think they were down to 590 earlier. I'll have to take a look. Most of that was on the news of the gentleman who designed their operating system getting pushed out. And they wasted no time throwing some rocks at him on the way out the door, especially some of the people that work there, especially with jobs leaving or basically being gone for a year. We are now starting to see the power struggles that happen in a lot of big companies once a very good and strong leader leaves. Steve Jobs basically had the power of Stalin in his company, and now we have somebody who is more of a salesman, more of a CFO, kind of the equivalent of Ballmer over at Microsoft. I have yet to see a CFO make the transition from a financial or sales office into the leadership of a company, and that company do extremely well, or anywhere close to somebody like a Bill Gates or probably like an Oracle CEO or any of those guys. When they leave, it's rare that you get people that visionary, but it's also rare that you get that many people that are that strong-willed. And what we are now seeing is kind of a power fight. The guy that designed the actual hardware is now basically running the software and hardware divisions. And is it a big deal? I think it is. I think you're going to find that this guy that basically designed the whole operating system, the iOS, is going to find a home. And this guy is probably more like Steve Jobs than anybody at Apple. Very strong opinion, but we already saw the long knives coming out for this guy as early as probably midsummer, when the designer of hardware said he was going to leave. He just wasn't going to basically put up with somebody that he thought maybe wasn't as strong as him. But they dumped, I think that there was a lot of things, this guy that they're throwing rocks at, and I don't even care about his name, but they basically gave him the job of building Google's Maps, and that came about 6 months ago. Now, how long has Google Maps been around? We know that they have over 7,000 employees, that at midsummer they had less than 100 people tasked on this internally to the company. By launch, they had less than 1,000 people tasked on Apple Maps, and they don't have anybody like the consultants that Google hires. There's over 7,000 people making Google Maps work for us today. So when that came out, I think there was probably a little bit of belief that, can we with 100 people do what Google does with 7,000? So I wasn't so much upset with whoever got tasked to do this, that they got tasked to do it 6 months ago or 4 months ago, and they got a little or nothing in comparison to the resources that Google had. It almost kind of reminds me in some ways of that movie, the 300, where it doesn't matter how strong you guys are, you got 300 people trying to hold up an army of 50,000. it's only a matter of time. And, you know, if they're off $5, probably pretty good. The other thing you do need to know is every time you see one of these huge news events is if someone wants to put out some really horrible news, what do? They jam it into one of these news cycles, or they jam it into the close on Friday. So every time I see this, or I see an assassination or a bomb blast, the first thing I start doing is looking at the news. Most of the other times, the news will come out, the market will react, and you'll know. But a lot of times, the news, like they've shoved out on Monday from Apple, is kind of like the worm. You just keep biting into it and hope you don't end up with half a worm sticking out of the apple. But we're going to look at that. But, you know, there's, I'm going to say that between market conditions with us being closed, what's going to be fairly low volume over probably the next few days, probably 3.5 billion shares on the consolidated New York Stock Exchange tape, I don't expect to see a lot of movement. You know, I thought maybe we get down to 1395. Market still looks like, you know, it could. I'm waiting for a bounce, and that bounce is probably somewhere between 1424 to 1428. And we'll take a look at that on the S&P before we think it's probably a time to re-short. That may take us into or right after the elections, which are in progress as we speak. Only a few more days. If you live in Florida, you'll probably know that will think it's Christmas the day after, because I can't watch television anymore without a TiVo and fast-forwarding through all the political ads and commercials. But we'll continue to look through that. Other than that, the tech world is maybe not as bright because a lot of the news is just getting swallowed. Amazon said that they had the best sales ever the day after the Mini came out, and I could probably believe that if you want to get something for $200. Not a bad deal, and I think they still make, Amazon still makes that Nexus 7 is probably the best low-end tablet, much better than the Mini, and unless you're going to spend $500, $200-300 gets you the highest-end low-end tablet. I don't like the Kindle so much, but I guess they're selling okay also. But Bezos is basically pushing those a bit over the last few days. But like I said, it's very tough to get any kind of traction in a market like this, where 99% of the news is all wrapped up in one event. And since everybody that writes the news is all in one town and it's happening to them, if the same thing happened, let's say we had 5,000 people killed in, let's say, St. Louis, it'd be over in about a week. This is like having your kid with a nice big scratch or something. They're going to milk it for everything they can, even though it's a bad thing. But because it's happening to them, it will happen in the news a lot longer and a lot bigger than if it happened somewhere out of the city that they lived in. We'll be back in a minute, and we'll start looking at some charts, and we've got the stocks of the night of the living dead coming.
What type of investor are you? Conservative, moderate, or aggressive? No matter your investor personality, your overall portfolio should reflect your financial goals, time horizon, and your risk tolerance. Help ensure your portfolio is appropriately invested with an asset allocation plan from Morgan Stanley Wealth Management. Simply picking the right stocks is not enough. Research has shown that choosing the right proportions of stocks, bonds, and cash is essential to the success of your long-term investments. Morgan Stanley believes a carefully selected portfolio can lower volatility and increase investment return potential. Find out about what an asset allocation and a Morgan Stanley Wealth Management financial advisor can do for you. Call Angela O'Brien, First Vice President and Financial Planner of the Clearwater, Florida branch at 727-441-6108 today to discuss your personal financial needs. Asset allocation does not assure a profit or protect against loss in declining financial markets. Investments and services are offered through Morgan Stanley Wealth Management, LLC. Member SIPC.
with the launch of Tiger TV. TFNN has brought our programming to the next level. With Tiger TV, you can gain access to each host's charts and computer screens as they host their daily stock program. Whether it's Tom O'Brien, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Ken Shreve, David White, Larry Pesavento, Victor Jones, or Carol Martin, you can catch all of our technicians hosting their programs live and archived on Tiger TV for your viewing pleasure 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you haven't checked out Tiger TV, then visit TFNN.com and see what you're missing.
You take a hands-on approach to managing your investment strategy. You're always looking for the next trading opportunity to magnify your perspective. Direction Shares connects sophisticated traders with a powerful array of ETFs from a wide range of asset classes. The markets may go up and down, and you want tools for both sides of the trade. Discover how we can help at DirectionShares.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction Shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction Shares at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors employing dynamic strategies. Investors in the fund should understand the consequences of seeking daily investment results, understand the risk of shorting, and intend to actively monitor and manage their investments. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen, live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den, absolutely free, for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
Millionaires are made every day. The fact is, living your dreams is possible. Someone, somewhere is going to get rich. My recommendation is, let that be you. Each day, someone is making the decision to better themselves and creating a plan to fulfill their financial dreams. Let that be you. The key to turning dreams into reality is to take massive action. Let that be you. I'm Steve Rhodes, co-host of the Money Master Show with Tom O'Brien, seen daily at TFNN, and I can help you with your journey to great wealth. I'll show you how to create the ultimate financial edge, a set of tools, insights, and strategies that are part of my daily newsletter service, Mastering Probability. You'll have direct access to me by phone, email, and my private library of trading and investing secrets for 30 days with an unconditional money-back guarantee. I'll take your trading to the next level. Click on my name, Steve Rhodes, on the homepage at TFNN.com and turn your dreams into reality. Mastering Probability, folks. Let that be you.
This segment is brought to you by Goldfields. For more information, just click the Goldfields banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And as we come back from our break, I want to give a shout out to Dan in Maryland. He is the winner of our Great Panther giveaway, an ounce of silver. Thank you, Dan. I appreciate it. You really love me. You love me. You really love me. Oh, I guess that was for Dan, I guess, not for me. Maybe we just need to play that a few more times to get me up and going. I'm kind of tired. I kind of had a... Oh, there we go. I have to play that several times out there. But anyway, we've got you. If they'll contact you, Dan, and get your ounce of pure silver. Cross my palm with silver. Anyway, we'll get that out to you. And it's Dan in Maryland. He's probably out with a wet vac right now cleaning up, but we hope that he's done better than most of the people out there, and that the mail finds him with his Great Panther ounce of silver soon. Anyway, we're kind of watching these markets. I wanted to see if anything was really moving out in this market. We're going to get to a few of the stocks that are kind of the zombie stocks. They're kind of a little dead. We'll get to those in our Halloween treat here before the end of the day. But, you know, the rest of them, kind of taking a look at stocks out here that are moving. You know, we're still seeing VeriSign very weak. It came out with earnings, VRSN, last week. Took a hammer on that and adding more to it today. and down to $36, 35 cents, maybe even lower now. But this thing, when we take a look at it, is kind of blown through. But there are 3 gaps, and this thing is making its way back down to somewhere between about $30 and $33 if you look at that. And that's where this whole thing started. But especially with any market weakness, we'll continue to move lower here for the rest of the, I think probably for foreseeable few weeks. But VeriSign, heavy volume down on Friday, more volume and decent volume today already, but not like Friday. But imagine this thing's going to continue to move down, and one of the weakest stocks out here in the market. Baidu is another one. It's off $6.50 or so. And again, China weaknesses are on that. Let's see. Baidu, what's it? It's just in a nice kind of trend here that looks like it's going to continue to base out. And eventually this thing's going to break out of an asymmetrical triangle. Generally, when they come in like this and continue to narrow in price range, the first move out of this and first big break is normally a false break. So keep an eye on that one, because that'll will get you, if it does break real hard, either up or down on light volume, and you can catch it. That may be a great trader back out there. You've got 134 up at the top and 99 at the bottom. This thing broke out, tested the low on very light volume. This would be a nice one to play for a move back up to 134. If it gets back up to 134 on light volume, a nice play to get back down to $99. That's $35 on $100 stock. Not too bad. NetApp, it's off about 3% in TAP. Take a look at that one here today. There's not all that many stocks and a lot of 2%ers out here, but I think that has more to do with a lot of these stocks moving. Give me here just a second. Sometimes this internet seems to have a big hiccup in this office for some reason. I'm not exactly sure why, but I think everything's quit moving here. In TAP, that's it. See if we can get it now. Nope. Doesn't like it. See what else we have moving out here. Maybe I'm spelling it wrong. I don't think so. On the positive side out here, we've got FAST up about almost 5%. FAST. Yep. It looks like I'm continuing to have internet issues here. So let me restart this just in case it has something to do. FAST. Oh, there we go. Fast. Nice little move up. Already to a break. Anyway, not much in that. This thing's still in a trading range. But this one's been in a trading range since, August. This thing's going to have a nice little move out of it here soon. Keep an eye on that. FAST. We'll be back in a minute.
You've heard Tom O'Brien on the air, and you've seen him on Tiger TV, as well as being featured as a regular CNBC guest and contributor, and now you can have access to his expert trading advice each morning through his daily trading newsletter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, gives traders, investors, and money managers a thorough strategy for trading stocks, options, and indices every market day. Market Insights comes out each market day before 9:30 a.m. and provides traders with Tom's daily commentary, opinion, and specific trade recommendations on the markets. Using advanced Fibonacci methods, volume indicators, Gartley patterns, candlestick charting, gaps, and market timing, Market Insights will give you specific trade recommendations including entry, stop, and exit prices. The summer is over and traders are back. Get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. If you're an investor looking for a great weekly investment newsletter, then now is the perfect time to try out Ken Shreve's Ultimate Growth Stocks. Every Tuesday, Ken breaks down multiple sectors in his weekly newsletter, Ultimate Growth Stocks, with a full in-depth report including specific trading recommendations within his model portfolio, charts, sector analysis, upcoming economic data, along with intra-week trading updates on newsletter positions whenever the market dictates. Right now, you can receive a full month, that's 30 days, to evaluate Ken's newsletter free of charge to see if it fits your trading plan. At less than $75 per month, Ken provides you with his expert trading advice that can pay for itself in no time. Take advantage of this great offer by signing up for a 30-day free trial to Ken Shreve's Ultimate Growth Stocks today. Don't let this offer pass you by. Visit the front page of TFNN.com and sign up now. TFNN and Great Panther Silver have teamed up for another exciting silver giveaway. The Great Panther Silver Halloween giveaway will be taking place at the end of October, and for 3 full days, we'll be giving away silver coins and bars every hour from 9 a.m. till 6 p.m. to one lucky winner randomly chosen. There's no purchase necessary. For more information and to fill out your registration form today, simply visit the front page of TFNN.com where you'll find all the details. October 29th, 30th, and 31st, we'll choose one lucky winner that will receive a silver coin or bar courtesy of Great Panther Silver. Winners will be announced live on the air each hour for 3 full days. Don't miss out on this great opportunity to win free silver from TFNN and Great Panther Silver. Register today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com, and for more information on Great Panther Silver, you can click on their banner on the front page of TFNN.com or check them out on the NYSE Amex, symbol GPL, or on the Toronto Stock Exchange, symbol GPR. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's Nadex.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Crocodile Gold. For more information, just click the Crocodile Gold banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Wanted to look at some other stocks, network appliance we have up now, and I wanted to see this thing breaking a super high volume low that's NTAP. Want to look at that one and keep an eye on it. $27.79 on the May 24th low. 54 million shares were going through there with about a tenth of that. Of course, what you want is a close back above $27.79 to confirm that this is a false breakout to the downside. But these are the kind that are like the proverbial the volleyball in the pool. You can hold it down and even sit on it and float around on it a little bit, but it becomes a huge issue with holding it down, because eventually, like that, the Jaws Shark, he said, it will pop back above those levels, and normally with a little bit of gusto when it comes back in it. Nice trading range up to $36. So, as long as we see these lows being broken again and again on a lighter volume, and we get enough of these in the market, this market's probably going to want to pop a bit. And like I said, you might be, on some of these, there may be some place to go long back into, maybe, into a Thanksgiving rally, maybe something like that. Wanted to get into the on the Halloween theme and take a look at some stocks out here that are on life support. that are zombies. They're dead. They just haven't quit moving yet. When we look at a lot of these stocks, I know people keep calling in about them. But what is it? RSH, Radio Shack. Some may have some interest in here. I think it's RSH, isn't it? Yeah, Radio Shack. This thing's down in the $2 range. The problem they have is they really just lost out in the technology revolution, where people are just not buying as much stuff that needs add-ons, that needs cables, that need all the other stuff, high-margin stuff that they sold. Still do well moving cell phones, but for a great extent, a lot of these cell phones and other things are, if you're buying a Kindle, you're getting it direct from Amazon. You can get your Nexus 7 directly from Google. These retailers are really having a hard problem, and I think they're going to continue to have a problem through Christmas. What really interests me in Radio Shack is that they have locations to go through. I think it's somewhere close to almost within 85% of the U.S. population can drive to a Radio Shack in less than 15 minutes. So the biggest thing is just the overwhelming amount of these stores and the locations that they're at. I don't know if they've pulled some of these stores, but I think a few of them are starting to close. But they, probably not the store you want. But if you wanted to buy a location tomorrow, let's say you're Microsoft and you want to open up a huge change of stores to sell your Windows 8 product. Not that they will, but a good example. You could come in, pick this thing up for pennies on the dollar, and have every site ready to go with employees to start pushing something out tomorrow. A well-formed army, albeit probably not paid well army, ready to go. Do they have anything else that really interests me? Nah, not really. But they do have that one thing, and that one thing may be exactly what someone else needs in a match where this thing gets bought out for, I don't know, $3 or $4 or something. But I suspect that they'll wait until after Christmas and some dismal earnings. They may be able to get this thing just a little bit lower. If you wait until they go into bankruptcy, it may take too long. And, of course, bankruptcy, you're going to lose all those people that run the store or know where the banks are and know where everything's set up. And, a lot of people may just go ahead and lease those stores to someone else. So kind of interesting. One of the few out here that really make me think that there is something else out there for these guys. RIM is another one. We've talked about it. I don't think that there's anything in RIM. RIM, it's bounced up and down a little bit. A lot of these stocks are hugely short. Even if you wanted to, you probably couldn't get shares in these. A lot of the big Wall Street fat cats have gone out there and shorted these at much higher levels to the point where there aren't any shares available. I think it's pretty tough even if you wanted to get RIM shares. But this is one of these stocks that's probably going to have to continue to just bleed out until it goes down to Radio Shack levels in $1 or $2. A lot of people say, well, they're going to continue to try to sell their patents. Unfortunately, those patents, for the most part, have already been sold. There's nothing left in a lot of these stocks like RIM to really make everybody think that, there's anything there. I guess they probably slowly bleed out. Maybe in the next earnings report, because they did come out with their new phone. Sales are pretty poor. I think everybody knows it. The problem you have is that when these stocks are so highly short, how do you get these things to ever break? You basically need some really bad news for those people that are buying what they think is a fallen angel. I just don't see anything out there. They don't have the manpower. They don't have a product in the offing to really bring them back. And I think their new CEO is there to basically wind them down as easy as possible while allowing as many of the big fat cats in Wall Street to pawn their shares off while they're still worth something. SHLD, Sears Holding, SHLD. Another stock that continues to bounce around fairly high. This is another one with a perpetual high short interest rate. Most of the big hedge funds are betting that this company goes bankrupt. And when hedge funds short, they don't short like me and you. They don't short for 2, 3, 4 weeks for the most part. They get huge short positions, and they hang on to these things for a year or two until they really pay off. The short levels and the people holding, Sears holding short, make me think that we are one Christmas away, or about 60 days, from some really nasty news. The only reason they've been able to keep these levels here is they were able to find somebody that needed to buy at least some of their holdings. And basically what they are now is a real estate company with a bunch of retail stores that all lose money. I don't think that it's going to change. No one's going to Sears or Kmart. Both stores creep me out with the heavily yellowing fluorescent lamps and the water-stained white acoustic tile and the bad 1970s 12 by 12 tiles on the floor. Maybe they've got carpet, maybe they don't, but most of these are in older malls that don't do well. Certainly not the Sears of your daddy's Sears, let me put it that, or even your granddad's Sears. Although they are home to my favorite tool company, and that is Craftsman's Tools. I can wander around there for hours. But, maybe if you took all the tools out of Sears and put them into Radio Shacks, that would probably be a combination, a match made in hell, but maybe something that would actually work. Kind of just that War of the Roses kind of thing. But it would be very interesting to see something like that. I think Sears Craftsman division and maybe their retail outlets might find a home for their car service. I think that part makes money. Everything else is a giant loser in this company. Again, the one thing that could save this company and maybe let it roll out a few more years is if retail space really started moving. Unfortunately, most of the retail space they have are Kmart's and Sears in locations that people moved away 10 or 15 years ago, and so they are now in, quote, quote, the bad part of town. Other stocks that we continually have to warn people about in the marketplace that don't know that they're quite dead yet. I always like that part in The Princess Bride. He's mostly dead. That's probably the way to think of a lot of these. Apollo Group, APOL, all these companies that are in this space are dead. There's nothing you can get away from it. The government's quit giving these loans, and some of them were grandfathered out. If you took a 4-year course 4 years ago, the government did sign up and pay and will guarantee those loans. But as each year goes along, less and less of those loans the government's going to stand behind and help people get from the University of Phoenix, all the other online colleges. There's a few out there that do well, like ITT. They really didn't get into this whole, I'll call it a scam, of getting a bunch of derelicts out there and signing them up for college and basically making money. The headhunters in these companies did well. This thing is continually going down, and God love you if you've got a share short of this. I shorted it twice in the newsletter. I made some decent money over it, but once it got to, about $39, I couldn't find anybody willing to lend me a share. When we talk about stocks like this, like Apollo, in the $30 range in Sears Holding, you actually have to pay a premium to get these shares short. These are not shares that you go out and you just share at the market value a lot of times if you're talking more than 100 shares. These things are very tough to get, and these broker-dealers will get a premium letting you short these, and a lot of these hedge funds are so sure that these companies are going belly up that they're willing to pay that premium. Another one in the same space is Coco, and this one's more in the range of going to be dead a lot sooner than later. Corinthian College's Coco. It's you can pretty much look at the chart, see what you're looking at. Right now, it's headed back down to the full lows of this over time. Again, we've got plenty of time here left in the show. I forgot to bring that up. You can give me a call at 877-927-6648, 877-927-6648. Anyway, in the last little segment here, if no one calls, I'm going to give a little homage to a few people that I've met that probably the events of the last few days make me think about again. And that's, anyway, Corinthian Colleges, another one of these stocks that's on the perpetual dead list. I need to go back 3 years, I guess. There it is. There's the low I was looking for, $1.24. Right now, I suspect that we see, I would probably imagine in the next 2-3 months, we're probably going to see $1.24 on Corinthian Colleges, come back and test that October 4th low on $1.24, and probably see maybe a little bit of bounce out of this based on the election. I suspect that you might see a bounce on an Obama victory next week, and maybe probably a fairly quick run back to $1.24 on Romney's win. Since I think these are probably the number one stocks that the government's involved with on the chopping block. If we're going to spend less money in the coming years. We're going to, no matter who's elected, but I think the market just thinks that there's going to be more austerity under Romney than there will be under Obama. But keep an eye on that. A lot of these stocks still rather ragged out here, but those are kind of the night of the living dead stocks for us. And being Halloween here, I think we're going to continue to look at that. I want to look at some other stocks that are actually giving some signals out here. And, kind of the most interesting one is Zipcars. Of course, this recent IPO. And if you live in the city and have a problem parking your car, you may just want to go, out to the country for the weekend, or you might need a car to go out and buy a bunch of stuff and bring it back into the city. If you live in New York or some of these other metropolitan areas, that you can live without a car. This thing's got the high volume low at $6.50 at 5.4 million shares on August 8th. We see that low come in. And we've got about 100,000 shares. There's probably not one that's got attacking its previous low with lighter volume here. I haven't had a lot of time to look into the internals of this company, but certainly not a lot of people out here. I wanted to bring it up today. On Monday, the Facebook crowd had the ability to start selling their stock, and the market kind of pushed it up a little bit going into that. But we've got a full unlock now of 275 million shares. These are the companies or the employees that have been mopping the floors, that been painting the walls. I think there was one guy that ended up with about $2 million of Facebook stock for painting the walls early on and through the IPO. So I think he's probably going to be one of the first guys clicking the button to sell. But we are going to see the rest of these 275 million shares hit the market between now and about the 15th. Big granddaddy is November 15th when another billion shares comes to market on Facebook. Probably not one of the biggest and weakest stocks out here, but I suspect that these guys are going to be probably the weakest hands of all these people in lockup around the Facebook. Anyway, we'll be back in just a minute.
Are you looking for a precision edge in the market? Something that can stack the odds in your favor? Then look into Larry Pesavento's new trading newsletter, Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind. In each weekly issue, Larry explains what's going to happen in the markets based on the pattern he sees developing and gives you actionable trade ideas based on those patterns. Plus, you'll get his detailed analysis on a variety of markets and sectors, including stocks, treasury bonds, the gold market, oil, the dollar, the forex market, and more. And you'll get the Technical Corner segment, which is a short but powerful weekly training session on trading. You'll get access to all the patterns Larry is seeing in the markets, plus the Astro Harmonics and powerful Bradley stock market model that Larry utilizes for less than $5 a day. An extremely potent combination that will give you just the edge you've been looking for. Try Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind absolutely free for 2 weeks. Go to TFNN.com and click on the free trial link at the top of the page. That's an $85 value, yours free when you register right now. Get Larry's Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind and get the edge you've been looking for.
In just December of last year, the price of gold was down over 10%. In today's highly volatile gold market, you need someone in your corner that understands the complex relationships that exist within the price of gold, as well as within a variety of gold equities. Whether it's the South African gold miners and knowing how the Rand-dollar relationship will affect their bottom line, or understanding how John Paulson's $5 billion trade in the GLD can move the market, Tom O'Brien gives you the direction you need to become a better trader each week in his newsletter, The Gold Report. With over 20 individual equities covered and almost another 20 on the potential watch list each week, in addition to covering the XAU, HUI, GLD, and dollar, The Gold Report is a great source for any trader that is looking to be diversified in today's volatile gold market. For your 30-day free trial to Tom O'Brien's Gold Report, log on to TFNN.com today. Don't miss out on this great offer. Act now. David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Let me tell you something, folks. I have people coming up to me saying, I just can't believe the amount of work that Steve does on his newsletter. And I says, I absolutely agree.
That is a recent clip from the Money Masters show that Tom and I do each day at TFNN. My newsletter service, Mastering Probability, is much, much more than a newsletter. Yes, it's outperformed the S&P 500 by 100% during the last 15 months. But more importantly, it's an extraordinary education, a roadmap for your success. And it's yours risk-free for the next 30 days. Just go to the homepage of TFNN.com and click on my name, Steve Rhodes, and then Mastering Probability, because everyone needs a success strategy. For most, it's a competitive edge, the will to win, the drive to overcome any obstacle. Whatever you call it, winners find a way. Find your way to Mastering Probability today, because your journey to extraordinary rewards is just one click away.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
And not going to talk about stocks here for the last few minutes. Going to talk about a little bit of the experience that I've had. Always enjoyed going down to the pier in St. Pete. Down there in the winter, we've had the U.S. Constitution. We've had the Bounty, the ship made for the movie in 1962. It spent summers up north and would come down here in winter, and they'd take you out. I think that was a long time ago. I don't think they do that or did that anymore. But I met the Captain Robin several times. Looks like they're probably not going to find him. Water temperature out there gives you about, even in a Gumby suit, gives you about 8 hours of life expectancy in the water. I haven't checked the news lately, but I'm not even sure that he had a survival suit on. That's kind of a little confused from his crew that did get off. That he was out there in a storm is beyond me. I would have been trying to find some river to go up and hide in. But St. Pete and Tampa will miss him. I like the ship, I like the captain. And it probably wouldn't be anything, but it reminded me a whole lot of another ship I was on. And I don't think these are far enough apart, and it's not that I just got off of it. But I've been on 2 tall ships that later sank. The other one I was on was SV Fantôme. It went down in November of '98. It was one of the barefoot cruises. I highly recommend them if you like it. Captain Guy in March basically ran that ship. He was, I don't know, probably about 32 years old. His twin brother ran another ship, and both of these were tall sailing ships, and these guys were from England. Liked his girlfriend. His girlfriend was the cruise director on the ship also. She always wore these slinky dresses that reminded me a lot of kind of an Austin Powers thing with the British flag on them, and of course skin tight, and down there in the Caribbean, not a big deal. I was down there basically in Honduras, and we were getting ready to take off for a cruise pretty much south. And I'd never really been that far south of the equator cruising on these ships. I'd been on about 6 cruises on those tall ships. They're pretty neat. You had an entire week to go off and, you know, have a nice adventure. It's not the homogenized kind of cruise that you get in cruise ships now, about 30 crew and about, most of the time, somewhere between 35 and 50 actual cruise members. You could sleep out in the Widow's Peak out in front if the captain was so desirous. And I kind of formed a bond with that captain. He was more than willing to go out when we were sailing at night and let me have the wheel. And I can remember several cruises where we were going between, you know, St. John's and Salt Island, some of those others, and, you know, being able to take the wheel of a big ship like that for 2 or 3 hours and just hold her steady on course. But I don't know. Like I said, it's just some of those life experiences that you think about. But I'll miss them both. You all have a good evening. Watch for those kids out there today. It is, they're going to be running around, so drive slowly and watch out for them. And you all have a great and exciting and wonderful Halloween evening.